Warning: the following video contains flashing images and graphics which could have an effect on people who have epilepsy or epileptic tendencies. Please end the video now and go watch something else that we have posted. We appreciate the thought, but do not want any harm to come to anyone. Now on to the review. Alright, another week, another game. This week I decided to continue the twin-stick shooter theme and play Ruiner. Now as a quick recap, a twin-stick shooter is when you use one stick, typically the left, to move while the other stick, therefore, typically the right, use it to aim while it's a top-down fashion for a camera angle. Now the reason I made sure to point out the camera angle is because all shooters could technically be classified as a twin stick, and since you have to use one to move and one to aim, but that's beside the point, and that's a tangent. Ruiner is a cyberpunk themed twin stick shooter with a really cool story and some really cool mechanics. You get points throughout the game to level up, and you unlock these different skills which can help you during fights. Things like a shield, or item drops, or you get a dash early on. Those sorts of things you can go and do, and they can really help you out in some of the fights. There are also a ton of guns and melee weapons to use, which can be pretty fun sometimes. You got grenade launchers, shotguns, ice beam, the typical things. The action's very fast-paced, and I really enjoyed the cutscenes that were sprinkled throughout the story to kind of get the game out of its top-down mode. You would go in and it would help out explain the story a bit. There's a bit of dialogue throughout it, but a lot of it's just kind of the boxes. But it is still really cool. I mean, the characters are really fleshed out through all of that and through the actions, and the game does a great job of putting the player into the main character's shoes. He's a strong silent type, which fits in really well with the game. Now, my only complaint that I'm going to have, which I mentioned at the beginning of this video, is the flashing images, the colors, and those sorts of things. It does fit in with the theme and the idea that the main character wears a mask, and you're kind of seeing those images that are flashing on the inside of the mask. But again, as I previously stated in the beginning, this is not going to be a game for people who have reactions to that sort of thing. And that's a sad thing too, since this game is pretty fun to play. Now, if that sort of stuff isn't an issue, then absolutely go and play this game. The story's fantastic, it's really well in depth, and it's really well made, and I love it. They have a new game plus, which is always a fun thing in a game, meaning that there's some replayability, which, as I've said a lot, that's my favorite thing in a game. So it's definitely something to go and play, and definitely something to go and play multiple times. Now that's all I have for this week, and I'd just like to say, as a bonus hint, before the regular hint, that I'm going to be done with twin stick shooters for a while. It's a good reason that you don't really try to play too many of one type of genre in a row. I mean, things start to blend together. After a while, it's just what are the differences between those sorts of games, and not really appreciating them as a whole, and I feel bad about that. So here's the actual hint for next week, and it's a little jingle. It's yo ho, a pirate's life for me. I'm not going to sing that. See you next week.